Broadcasting from Studio 202 at the Sprigget Technology Center in Navasota, Texas, it's NOV Live. Now, let's start the show.
Good morning, hello, and welcome to NOV Live. My name is Shelby Dumaine, and I am your host this morning. We're so excited for you to be joining us for the show today. We have a really excellent conversation. We're talking about fluid motion solutions and what is it, who are they? We're going to learn a little bit about the team and their capabilities. We have a really excellent guest on to talk to us. But before we get into the main discussion of the show, like I said, fluid motion solutions, we're actually going to quickly talk to you a little bit. We have our audience moderator is joining us this morning for the call as well. And I'd like her to tell you a little bit about how you can get involved with the show. Good morning, Raman.
Good morning, Shelby. Thank you so much. Hi, guys. My name is Raman Kaur. I'm a marketing intern here at NOV. I'm here to help with any questions that you guys have from anywhere that you're tuning in. All you have to do is just put your question in the chat and we will answer it at the end of the show. We'll have a little Q&A section. So again, just put in your questions in the chat and at the end we'll have a little Q&A.
Yes, we're so excited to have you on the show this morning and get to hear from our audience a little bit and to kind of maybe give them a little bit of practice there in the comment section. We have a trivia question for them. Can you read off the trivia for this morning?
Yes, so the trivia question is, the first progressive cavity, also known as PC, pump company, PCM, Mino, began manufacturing in May 1935. What was its PC pump originally intended for? So the options are A, fighter aircraft, B, submarine, C, swimming pool, or D, Hoover Dam. If you think you know the answer to the question, please just put it in the chat, and at the end we will go over the answer.
That's right. So, what was the first PC pump manufactured for?
Intended for. Yep.
Yeah. I think I have my answer in my head, but I don't want to spoil it. So we'll wait for the end to reveal that. But without any further ado, I want to go ahead and, like I said, get into that main discussion and start talking all about FMS or fluid motion solutions. And to do so, to help me out with that, we have a guest joining. I keep saying good morning here in the States, but it's more good afternoon for you. Is that right? We have our guest, Ken Ball. Or hello.
Yeah, good afternoon.
That's right. Where can you let the audience know where you're tuning in from?
Yeah, I'm here at our facility at Green Gate in Middleton in Manchester in the UK.
That's right. Well, hello and howdy from us here in Texas. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, Ken, about your role here at NOV and with FMS?
Yes. So I started here 33 years ago nearly now in the design drawing office. I then moved on to be engineering team leader in the drawing office before moving into a more sales orientated role where I was a contracts manager for a number of years. After that, I went more direct on the sales side where I've carried out a number of roles, firstly as product specialist and then as an oil and gas business development manager. Finally, I've moved into service in 2015, where I've been the service manager up until about 3 years ago, and I have now become the aftermarket development manager for FMS in the UK.
Incredible background and resume. We're so fortunate and thankful that you were able to join the show today and talk about FMS. So thank you. And when we were preparing for the show, I know we were talking and you mentioned that safety is really important. So I think to start off the show, can you talk a little bit about safety and its importance for FMS?
Yes, yeah. So safety is really important to me. It goes back to when I was a teenager as an apprentice, many years ago now. So that'll be 40 years ago, when I was walking down our shop floor on a designated walkway where no PPE was required, and a colleague was moving a truck which he lost control of, and it veered into the walkway where he collided with me and he broke my foot. 40 years later, I'm still suffering with the after effects of that accident. So the key conclusion for me is to take home from this is that it's not always you that creates the issue. So please be aware of that and make sure you wear the correct PPE. So anywhere in a manufacturing environment, you should be wearing your boots, your high vis, so that people have got full visibility of you, and then finally, one of the most important things is glasses, to make sure your eyesight is is protected.
Absolutely. That's something I've noticed going to different facilities, both here in the US, but even a couple that I've gotten to see elsewhere. And I've noticed across the board that safety is something that is very important to every facility and really kept up with. And it's always good to have that reminder for sure. So thank you for that. And I wanted to ask kind of next a little bit about what service and aftermarket means. I'd say specifically to FMS, or like we said, fluid motion solutions. Of course, usually this applies to the broader NOV as well, but as it pertains to FMS today, can you talk a little bit about service and aftermarket and what it means?
Yes, certainly can. Yeah, so our mission is to be a world-class leader for the supply of services for both the progressive cavity pumps and our mixers here in the UK and Europe. The mission, therefore, is that we give a reliable, efficient and speedy service to make sure that our customers have the best uptime for their products, and our products are the most reliable in the market.
Absolutely. And can you tell me a little bit about kind of what role aftermarket and service play kind of maybe in the overall FMS? So we've talked a little bit about the kind of value of it, but maybe that role there.
Yeah, so we potentially could be the face of FMS.
Right.
So we provide services from cradle to grave with our products, and we perform critical services for the customer to ensure his products are operational and of the utmost urgency. We've got to be quick and efficient at responding, both from a quotation and actual application of the products and the services that we provide.
And I've heard the phrase plant solution provider. Can you talk a little bit about that phrase when it comes to service and aftermarket?
Plant solution provider, yes. So we can, when we engage with customers, if he's got a particular application, what we can do, you'll see some in the examples later on, we can give you use our expertise to give you guidance and act as a consultant in the design of your products and your plant, and also give you options to upgrade and improve the process performance of your plant.
And does that include, when we're looking at aftermarket, kind of the like OEM parts, different technology troubleshooting? Is that kind of all rolled up under aftermarket or service and aftermarket?
Yes. Okay. So yeah, so we can provide the solutions from cradle to grave, both for our own products and our competitor products. So we offer a range of spare parts and services to improve our competitor products, and even in certain cases to replace those, to give the optimum performance to the customer.
Okay. So what does that look like in terms of our capabilities overall?
Okay, that's a good question. So we've got lots of capabilities we can offer for the service team. So firstly, there's the basic aftermarket services, which are provided for products from our plant, which are manufactured here in Manchester in the UK, in a facility that I'm in today at Greengate. That's both for our own products and our competitor products. Then we can offer the upgrades to existing systems and pumps and mixers. And finally, then we offer repairs and refurbishment of equipment, both in the facility here at Greengate and in the field. So if we look at field services, then that can operate from cradle to grave again.
Right.
So customer has an issue and he needs some equipment, or he needs an upgrade. We go to site. We can offer a site service, a survey on the site. Then we will come back and specify the products required, and we can design the full package solution, whether it just be a pump station or whether it be a particular system that the customer requires. We have done systems that encompass all our product lines, with mixers, pumps, and munchers. So that's a macerator type product, and we've done those quite successfully. That follows on to eventual installation and commissioning services. So we can actually completely take the product from cradle to grave and give the customer a single point to get his package.
That's excellent. And I also wondered if automation comes into play here. I know we've talked about that on the show a lot, and so I was wondering if you could speak to automation as far as capabilities are concerned.
Oh yes, yes. Okay, so automation is one of the things that's close to my heart. My background is electrical engineering, so instrumentation and control is very strong for me. We do offer control packages for our pumps. And also one of the things we've moved into more recently is digital monitoring. So where that takes us is I can monitor our equipment wherever it is in the world, whether it be Singapore, into Europe or in the UK. I can see it on my screen. I can look at that equipment, see how it's performing, and then feed back to the customer where things may potentially be going wrong. So the aim of that is to offer him a predictive maintenance rather than preventative or run to fail.
Absolutely. We actually just posted recently on our socials a video. I believe it was for Max Completions, which is another digital monitoring, but just showing kind of the difference of life without and life with being able to digital monitor. And like you said, be able to kind of make predictions and be preemptive rather than reactive, or I guess proactive rather than reactive. And it's definitely that key part of being able to be anywhere and still be able to see all of your information and all the stats and be able to make decisions is so key and so important. Definitely.
That's correct, and we have used that on one of the packages that we've put into place. And from the data that we collected, unfortunately, we did have a downtime, but we saw a failure. But we actually managed to look at the data, and we saw the commencement of the failure and interacted before we actually got to the point of complete disaster.
Yeah. That's exactly great reason to have it. That's for sure. It's not just real-time data monitoring. It's also allows you to be able to make real-time decisions, I think is what's also.
Yes, it does. Yes.
So
yeah,
key.
that's key. That's key, being able to make a decision in real time rather than after the event.
Yeah, without a doubt. I also wanted to ask, so I know you had mentioned installation and kind of your support there. Can you talk a little bit about, is there any support when it comes to training for installation or beyond that?
Yes, so we offer training both in-house and in the field. So that is we can offer packages. We have a standard suite of packages for both munchers, pumps, and mixers, and that, or we can actually tailor the training to suit the customer's particular needs. And that training can stem from just basic product overview, so that people understand the product ranges that we offer, then on to product selection for our distribution partners, and then finally into maintenance and failure analysis.
It's a really all-encompassing training that you're
Yes.
able to do. That's excellent.
Yep.
And I want to make sure, so we're kind of going through some of the capabilities. We got the aftermarket, field services, automation and technology, the training. So I wanted to ask you, I know you had brought in some pictures to share with us. Could you talk through some examples of those capabilities in action?
Yes, yes. So these are particularly for installations. It just shows you the scope of works that we can deal with. So this is just a basic domestic customers. This is a single house, small package that runs at 4 cubic meters an hour, just pumps into the normal sewer system. So that's a very, very small product, but you can see there the before and after pictures and the difference in the quality of the equipment. The original equipment on this particular site, by the way, had been sat in place for probably 30 or 40 years. So that shows you the reliability of the products that we offer into the marketplace.
Absolutely. Yeah, you talk about from cradle to grave there, but it's a long journey from cradle to grave.
Yes, literally. Yep. Yes. So that lady the lady had that house built, and she remembers the original pump being installed. We have had a maintenance contract on that particular site for that duration of time. but eventually that product line now is being made obsolete. So we've replaced it with a more up-to-date product.
Right. Good for everyone. And we brought in, let's see, another one here. Can you tell us a little bit about, here we go, this image. Let's see. There we are.
Yes. So this was a major success of ours. A very, very large pumping station on a site, a distribution site. The warehousing area on this site was 2.5 million square feet. So you can see that's quite a large site. And this station has to actually pump for 12 miles. So it's a whole sewage for this site for 12 miles. The customer came to us and asked us for a solution, and we have worked with them. We've consulted with them, and we've assisted them in designing a package right the way through, and that includes the civil works, the structure of the building, the lifting equipment that we've got inside there. There is also a dosing package, and there's a flushing system because it runs for a very long period of time. There were specific requirements that the rising main is flushed, so we had to design the control system to ensure that all worked correctly. Additional to that, there is some additional pumps sat to one side that actually feed the flushing system. So, which is a different product line that we took from an alternative manufacturer. So there's very, very, very extensive project over a period of about 12 months altogether. We were working on that project from initial concept to installation. As it stands now, there's an 18-month period that the product has to run for before it can be handed over to the local water authority.
Wow.
During that period, we have actually got a service contract into place where our engineers are attending every week to ensure that the product is running smoothly. It's now been running for around about 12 months or so, and we have had no issues on that site at all.
Amazing. So, with literally and figuratively, a lot of moving parts to that one. It sounds like.
Yeah,
that's excellent. And I think we have one more here to show. Yes, I love this color. Lots of this picture. Lots of color and stuff you can see here. Can you talk about this a little bit?
Yeah. So this is inside the green building that you could see on the previous picture.
Oh.
So you can see the actual physical equipment, the pumping equipment that we've supplied. So in the background, you've got the grey box, and we'll call it, which is the control panel. That was actually the operation process was actually designed by myself along with the consultant. And that the real other equipment you can see in there is the equipment is sat on a leg with a red pipe to the left hand side. Those are munchers. Those are wonderful products that chop up the equipment. And then you can see the long pump, the long progressive cavity pump, which is the main focus of this call today. In the front with the mono sign on the actual pumping element, the stator, and on the right hand side you can see the pipe work. So, and right in the middle, you can see a big yellow structure, and that is the lifting equipment that we had to put into this site for maintenance. So that gives you an overview of the capabilities that we have for designing from a greenfield site. Well, this was a complete greenfield site when we started. There was absolutely nothing on there other than grass, as a greenfield site has.
Right. And this might be, and I apologize if you might have already answered it, so this might be obvious, but can you, so the use of this, is this in municipal situations? Is this something that, can you talk a little bit about, maybe for someone who has no idea what the equipment is kind of new to the industry, a little bit about what this building, what this project kind of does, maybe in simple terms.
Okay. So this is a raw sewage pumping station. So that it takes the raw sewage from an industrial customer. So then it's a major motor manufacturer on this site. It then pumps from the sewage chamber, 12 miles to the local water authorities treatment works.
Wow.
Where of course the sewage is then treated, and the solids are removed, and the clean water is then eventually discharged into the local river course.
Right. Gotcha. Thank you. That actually helps a lot. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I don't come from an engineering or oil and gas or energy or anything like that background. So a lot of times I sometimes I'm like, I need the street, answer for it. So thank you.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask maybe one more as far as examples. Could you tell us? I know we had talked about training, but we talked about on-site training. Can you talk a little bit about some of the training programs? Any examples you have?
Yes. Yes, certainly can. So one of the major ones that we've done recently is one of the major water companies in the UK is carrying out a multi-skilling initiative where they are creating mechanical engineers from electrical engineers and vice versa, electrical engineers from mechanical engineers. So myself and a colleague attend their training facilities twice a year as each group for with training the engineers on the electrical parts and the mechanical parts of our products.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Yeah, there's something being able to kind of be hands-on and have those conversations in a training environment. I think is so crucial and critical, for sure.
Yes, yeah, very much so.
Absolutely. Well, before I pass the kind of baton over to the audience to have their questions answered, I just want to say thank you for answering all of my questions, even maybe some of the sillier ones, but I appreciate it. And
no question is silly.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Without further ado, we're going to go back to Ramen, and she's going to have give the audience their opportunity to ask some questions.
Yes. So our first question in the chat was, where is the most interesting place you have carried out an install?
Oh, that's a good one. Okay, so we've carried out installs all over the UK and in Europe and abroad, but one of them is close to my heart, which is local to us in Manchester. And one of the things I have to say is that what's underfoot is really interesting. So in the centre of Manchester, many years ago, the local telephone company was building a cable tunnel about 60 metres under the ground. At that point in time, the government decided that it would be a good place to locate the Manchester nuclear bunker, shall we say. So a number of years ago, we were assigned to install a number of pump stations in this particular facility. So under the ground, it is like a mini village. It's got its own power supply, it's got its own leisure facilities, it's got its own hotel, and also then of course you've got the telephone exchange itself. So really interesting. That site is known as the Manchester Guardian. I don't know if they still do it or not now, but they were offering tours around there. So, and if you get the opportunity, if you're in Manchester, to go and have a look at that, take a look. It's really interesting.
So you're saying in case of zombie apocalypse to get to Manchester?
Yes. Yes, correct. Yeah.
Good. Well, if I can somehow get across the ocean, then that's where I'll head.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, any more ramen?
Yeah. So we have another one here. What would your ideal scope for an installation job in terms of scope of works and size of project?
Good question.
Okay, that's another good one for me. So the business likes the simpler projects where we can get a quick turnaround of 6 to 8 weeks, and obviously get the revenue in quickly. However, the project that I showed previously with a little bit more scope, where we are providing a full turnkey package with both mechanical and electrical scope, is really key to me. We're doing another project at the moment where we're supplying a number of pumps and controls onto a major project in the northeast of the UK. I've been heavily involved in the electrical specification and the design of the controls for that particular site. So electrical is always very strong to me. It's my background.
Exciting.
Thank you for that, Ken. And we have one other question here. Again, I just want to remind the audience, if you have any other questions, please just put it in the chat. But one last question here. What makes FMS stand out as a service and aftermarket organization?
Okay, right. So the first thing is that we've got quite a small team, but in that small team, we have got a whole over 150 years experience.
Wow.
So for me, that's key. That experience is really strong. The other thing is our ability to adapt to the customer's needs for both small projects for small customers, and all the way up to our turnkey packages that we can offer for both retrofit and greenfield applications.
Yeah, I will say that's one thing that you mentioned, the experience, and I've said, I know I've said it before on the show, so if we have any viewers who've seen, then they're like, you're a broken record over here. But the amount of experience really can't be understated. I think, other industries, there's hundreds and hundreds of years and all this, but I think what stands us out in kind of a relatively newer industry energy, but I know y'all work more in water, but it's that experience really makes all the difference, and having that and having people you can trust and lean on that expertise. It's really great.
Yeah, it does. You can see the difference in projects where you've got people who are experienced, where over and above there you've got people who are inexperienced. And experience can be short-lived. There's young people and old people who have got vast amounts of experience.
Right, and that lends itself.
It makes the projects a lot easier.
Absolutely, and even if we do have new people joining the team, then it's not new people being trained by other new people. It's those incoming, that next generation of engineers and sales teams. They're able to learn from that experience as well, which I think is
Yes.
creates a great cycle there.
Yes, definitely. It does. That's fantastic.
Yeah. Well, I want to say thank you to our audience for those questions, but before we let the audience completely off the hook, I know we have that trivia question we kind of teased there at the beginning. Can you maybe repeat the question and then reveal the answer for us?
Yeah, so just to remind the audience, the question was, the first progressive cavity PC pump company, PCM, Mono began manufacturing in May 1935. What was its PC pump originally intended for? So the options were A, fighter aircraft, B, submarine, C, swimming pool, or D, Hoover Dam. And the correct answer is A. The answer is fighter aircraft, and the explanation is the inventor Rene was trying to produce a supercharger for compressing fuel air mixtures for a fighter aircraft, but the principle was not suitable for its original application, but rather as a pump.
Interesting. And that's when I gotta say I didn't know. I usually try to guess the trivia questions, and I would not have guessed fighter aircraft on that one. It's really excellent.
One of the things that's interesting, you'd be surprised at some of the things that mono pumps have been used for. And one of the things I've just seen recently is it was actually used in the 1950s for the first heart operations. So when somebody's working on a heart, it was actually used to pump blood around the body during operations.
Wow, yeah, that might take the cake for most novel one I've heard so far.
Yeah.
That's excellent. I'm gonna tell that to just about everyone I run into in the next couple of weeks. Yeah. That's so exciting. Oh man, well, thank you so much, Ken, for coming on the show and lending your expertise to us and teaching us about FMS and all the capabilities. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for asking me. Thank you.
Absolutely. And I want to say thank you to our production team as well. We have Raman Kaur here, as well as Kaylee Shelton and Wei Han Lin on production. So thank you so much for tuning in for the show. My name is Shelby Dumaine, and I've been your host today, and we will see you next time.